Most men don't realize that in relationships, true character is revealed not during the easy times, but when boundaries are set. Often, kindness is mistaken for loyalty and affection is confused with genuine respect. And by the time a man begins to see the deeper truth of a relationship, it can be too late emotionally, financially, or even spiritually. But here's what's important to understand. A woman's true emotional nature becomes visible when she's challenged not through conflict, but through boundaries. That's why it's essential to pay attention early on, before giving your full heart, your time, or your resources. So how do you do this in a healthy way? Begin with something simple. Observe how she responds when you say no. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Maybe she asks for your time when you're unavailable. Maybe she assumes you'll agree with her perspective or go along with her plans without question. Just calmly and kindly say no and then notice what happens. A woman who has emotional maturity and genuine care for you will respect your boundaries. She may be disappointed, but she won't try to control or shame you. She understands that part of loving someone is accepting their autonomy, their right to say no. On the other hand, if her response includes guilt, blame, manipulation, or emotional withdrawal, it may be a sign that the relationship is based more on control than connection. And this isn't about blaming or labeling. It's about awareness. Because someone who cannot honor your no is ultimately not ready for a respectful, healthy relationship. And it's better to learn that early. Many men end up feeling blindsided in relationships because they keep giving, agreeing, and accommodating without ever noticing the quiet erosion of their boundaries. But when you respectfully hold your ground and express your needs and limits, you give yourself the chance to see how the other person really relates to you, not for what you do, but for who you are. So this isn't about playing games or testing someone in a manipulative way. It's about creating space for truth to emerge. Let your no be an invitation for real respect. And if it's not met with that, you've gained clarity, not loss. Because a relationship built on mutual respect will always thrive on honesty, not compliance. No, here's something very few people talk about, but it reveals a lot. If you really want to understand someone's intentions in a relationship, try this. Take something away. Not as a punishment, but as a moment of clarity. Take away the constant texting. Step back from the little luxuries or gestures she's come to expect. Pause the gifts, the attention, the instant responses. What you're doing isn't manipulation, you're simply observing whether the connection is based on emotional intimacy or external reward. Because here's the truth. Some women are drawn to who you are. Others are drawn to what you provide. And you can't always tell the difference when everything is flowing easily and she's getting what she wants. That's why this works. It removes the comfort zone. It removes the automatic access. And it creates space to see what the relationship is really built on. When someone's used to you paying for everything, try switching it up, split the bill. If you've always been the one texting first or planning everything, pull back just a little and see what happens. If you've been constantly offering reassurance or praise, pause and observe. A woman who genuinely values you for who you are, not just what you do, will adjust with grace. She might notice the change, but she won't react with blame, anger, or manipulation. She still show up. She still want your energy, your presence, your attention, because that's what she was after all along. But if she lashes out, shuts down, or suddenly pulls away when the benefits slow down, it's a clear signal. She may have been more attached to the comfort you provided than to you as a person, and that distinction matters. Because relationships built on transactional dynamics often collapse the moment those transactions end. Loyalty built on conditions is not loyalty, it's convenience. And here's the part that can be hard to face. Sometimes the version of her you've been seeing is shaped by what she's been receiving. When that dynamic shifts, the truth emerges. So don't be afraid to create space for that truth to show. Because love that's real doesn't disappear when the perks are gone. It doesn't fade when things get inconvenient. It deepens. So test not by withholding out of anger, but by stepping back in awareness. Because if she only loved what you gave, then she didn't truly love who you are. Now let's talk about the third insight, one of the most revealing but overlooked dynamics in a relationship: disagreement. Most people think compatibility is about agreeing all the time. But the reality is, how someone handles disagreement tells you more about their character than how they act when everything's easy. So here's what you do respectfully, calmly express your own opinion even if it's different from hers. Don't pick a fight. Don't aim to provoke. Just be honest about your perspective. It might be about values, priorities, or something. As simple as how you spend your time. Watch how she reacts. A woman who's grounded, emotionally intelligent, and truly respects you won't try to silence or shame you. She might disagree back. She might challenge your view. But she'll do it in a way that still honors your dignity. She won't belittle you. She won't withhold affection as a form of control. She won't make you feel like respect is only available if you conform. But if instead she becomes dismissive, condescending, or emotionally reactive, that's a red flag, not because you disagree, but because of how disagreement is handled. True partnership is not built on agreement, it's built on mutual respect. Especially when views diverge. Because in the long run, love isn't about finding someone who mirrors everything you say. It's about being with someone who can hear you even when they don't agree and still choose to show up with kindness, curiosity, and care. Here's one of the most overlooked but powerful truths about relationships. Real respect is revealed not when things are smooth, but when you hold your ground. If you want to know the strength of a connection, pay attention to how someone reacts when you calmly express a different opinion. Because some people aren't looking for a partner, they're looking for a reflection. They want someone who mirrors their beliefs, agrees with their perspective, and aligns with their expectations without challenge. And the moment you step outside of that role, when you stop being their mirror and start being yourself, they begin to resist, resent, or even retaliate. When disagreement triggers guilt-tripping, raised voices, or accusations of not caring, that's not love, that's control. That's emotional dependency disguised as connection. And it turns the relationship from a partnership into a power struggle. But this isn't about winning or being right. It's about seeing whether your voice is safe in the relationship. Can you be honest? Can you express a need, a boundary, or a belief without being punished for it? Because the man who constantly avoids conflict, who goes along to keep the peace, often loses something far more important, himself. He suppresses his voice, his values, and his identity to maintain harmony. But it's a false harmony, and eventually it breaks him. On the other hand, the man who can calmly say, "I don't agree," without raising his voice, without disrespect, sends a powerful message. He communicates, "I see you, but I also see myself. I value this connection, but I won't compromise who I am to preserve it." That's strength. And the right woman, even if she doesn't love the moment, will respect the man who can do that. She'll feel more secure, not less, because she knows he's not a pushover. She knows he has principles and he lives by them. But if disagreement leads her to shame you, withdraw affection, or attack your character, that's your answer. She may not be seeking a partner, she may only be comfortable when she's in control. And no relationship built on control can ever grow into something truly loving or sustainable. So yes, test her not with manipulation but with truth. Say no, set boundaries, speak your mind, and then observe. Because how she responds isn't about the situation, it's about who she really is. The right woman will lean in. She'll respect your strength. She'll want to grow with you. The wrong woman? She'll show you that the relationship was never about mutual connection. It was about what you could offer, provide, or reflect. So test early. Don't be afraid of the truth. Because the man who is brave enough to test in the beginning is often the man who protects himself from heartbreak in the end. And if you've ever experienced this, if you've ever seen someone's true colors show when you simply stood your ground, drop a comment below. Say, "I've seen the truth." Let's see how many people know this reality.